Explore your thoughts. Learn what you think you already know. We're taking you on a journey to the other side. Welcome everyone again to another edition of The Other Side. As promised, we continue our election coverage of our local parish elected officials. If you're watching this, you've seen District 2 already wrapped up. Now we're moving on to District 1. And you probably just watched the podcast from the contender in District 1, which is Bradley Armon. And right now we have the incumbent in District 1 is Mr. Darrell Wiley. How you doing, Mr. Darrell? And I welcome you to the program. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
So real quick, he currently serves as District 1, and he is the chairman of finances, and he's also the chairman of the litter court. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, Mr. Darrell, if you can just briefly give us a little summary about yourself, how long you've been serving in the police jury, how long have you been financial chairman?
Okay, I recently just got elected this past November of 2021. It was a special election to fill the seat of Mr. Elsie Bryan, who had passed away. So I've actually only been on there 2 years, and I was appointed finance chairman in December when Colonel Jones passed away. So I guess you could say I got 2 years of experience so far.
Have you ever served any political office prior to that?
Yes, I did. I was a school board member for 8 years, and proud to say that I served on a board that ended desegregation in our parish and brought unitary status, and also brought us out of the dark ages of the D score. So we got, we definitely got better.
Right. Yeah, it is moving on up. So, Mr. Darrell, so why are you running? What made you choose to start running for a police jury? You know, this last term. Now you choosing to do it again.
I guess to serve the community. I can reflect back, me and the wife sitting on the front porch drinking coffee, talking about how our little community, which I reside in Effie, Louisiana, I've been there all my life, and we were distraught. The consolidation of schools kind of, you lose your school, you kind of lose touch with the community. And we thought about things to try to get back in sync. And I didn't seek political office. It was kind of bestowed upon me. I asked if I would consider running, and I did, and I enjoyed it. And it's a good opportunity just to give back and help your friends, your family, your neighbors, and whoever.
Right, especially being retired, you kind of
I got time. I can be a full-time.
Or that way we don't have to think about the LSU loss from last night, but we'll move on from there.
We don't want to talk about that.
Right. So you've only served a couple of years now, and you run it again. So, I'm sure it takes a term or two just to kind of get you settled in and everything. Do you see anything that you could do better, or not you necessarily, but something you can contribute overall, what we can do to make the police jury better place?
You can always do better, and I think we've made pretty good strides in the 2 years I've been there. We recently got some money, we got some roads done, and that's helped. But I've been pleased so far with. I would say this: the shortcomings are more or less a lot less than what we've been able to do. I mean, of course, you can't please everybody. I learned that a long time in the coaching business.
Yeah.
But you can always make everybody mad. So it's been a rewarding. It's more, and I enjoy it. I like it. It's it's just your relationship with people, and how you get your point across sometimes, or how they get their point across. It's a working project.
Yeah, and it keeps you active and keeps you going.
Yeah.
So if you were asked to give an overall grade on the overall police jury from relationship to the what are y'all able to accomplish as a team, an A through F grade, surely there's always room for improvement, of course.
Well, yeah, there's always room for improvement. I guess C minus. Infrastructure is our biggest issue. I'm gonna tell you, my phone rings for 3 reasons most of the time. Number one, my road's in bad shape, my ditch needs digging out, or my garbage hadn't been picked up. And when this is what people seem to be tuned in with the police jury. That's their concerns, and to me, if that's their main concerns, that should be our main concern. So our infrastructure, we need to come up with some ways, and it's tough. Money's always a problem, but
yeah.
We need to put our heads together find ways.
Right. So you mentioned your phone always rings. Do you pretty much have an open door
Oh yeah,
policy? So,
I have answered or returned every phone call I've gotten, and also social media, text messages. I answer them and I always respond, and that's the way I want to be treated. If I want to talk to somebody, I want them to
right.
talk to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's good to have that relationship with your constituents where you're able to, if you start dodging phone calls, then
But
you're
yeah,
gonna you're not gonna be very well respected or
that's right.
popular, so you kind of give back, open to, like I tell people, you can't promise to fix everything, but all you can do is promise to do your best and utilizing the funds and the resources what you have.
Correct.
So speaking of resources and funds, you're the chairman of the finances, so we're gonna jump gears a little bit
Okay.
into some of this material you have here. So one, let's talk about the garbage tax. I had interviewed Kirby. He kind of explained about it as well. But here on the podcast, we get all sides of the story. So, uh, so basically, we said the police jury said we needed the garbage tax to pick our garbage up, and then there was another elected official that came up with another set of numbers that kind of went against that, saying we had a surplus or whatever. That was his figures. Then we wake up one morning and our garbage is still getting picked up. So I guess the question is, how did y'all accumulate y'all numbers versus the other figures?
Well, anytime you make budgets, you got to project. I mean, and I think they went back. Now, don't quote me on this. I think they went back to at least 2018 and looked at the numbers. The problem we were facing, that we was worried about, was that we had a new garbage contract coming up, and it was going to be up, and we already kind of, we knew that. So I think it was kind of hoping to be able to make that. At the time, there was a surplus. We debated it. There was debates about this. There was conversations about it. We have a surplus to this day, but that surplus is dwindling. But it was enough, I thought. And this is me, and I'm speaking for me.
Yeah,
My
everybody
opinion.
has their own
This is my
opinions,
opinion. I
right?
thought we had enough to cover it, at least one contract with the surplus we had, because it's up for renewal in 2028. So I thought we were better off if we had waited closer to 2028 or at that time to ask for more money. But it is going to eat into that surplus. Now, how quickly? I don't know. Projection, like I told you earlier, we was talking, and we got $3,055,000 right now that we've collected this year. So we're right at the door that we've been collecting this for the last few years. I don't know how much exactly the total surplus is. I didn't get that, but once, if we can't cover the bill with what we take in, then guess where the money comes out of? Comes out of the surplus cover. And there's more things involved with the solid waste, not just garbage pickup.
Right.
And I thought, we operate.
Does that also include like the parish dump and everything? Is that so?
yeah.
That's all part of the solid.
That's you got, they call it white good pickup and stuff like that. And here's another thing: if we have a national disaster, if we have a hurricane, flood, or something, that money comes out of that surplus
Right.
to help out with that. So, I think our garbage pickup is a great thing. Like I told you, my phone
Yep.
rings. If the garbage is not picked up, my phone's gonna ring, say, hey, my garbage wasn't picked up. So, I don't know. And our representative got involved. I wish he'd have got involved earlier. I think that maybe we should have had more heads looking at it or more eyes looking at it than what we had. But at the time, we felt like it had to be done, and it needed to be put on the ballot so the people could vote for it, and they did.
So it was a topic of conversation. I guess y'all seen there's a problem coming. So I guess it was all a matter of perception of how bad the problem is. Do we need it now, or can we address it a little bit
Basically,
later?
when do we want to deal with
And
it?
there was a debate sort of
Yeah.
amongst y'all to how to pursue that
That's
now
right.
or a little bit later. But even though there was a problem coming, right? That'd be
Yeah.
fair to say. Okay, you have anything else to add with that or anything? The garbage tax we were saying earlier, that comes from a sales tax And also, you said the DMV.
There's a DMV sales tax, quarter-cent sales tax, and a three-quarter-cent sales tax. We
Okay.
deviate that, and that brings in approximately, you can round it off $4 million a year. So right now we're at $3 million.
Right.
So it's going to be, it's going to probably be under that.
Yeah.
There's also a big misconception about, and I want to bring this up, talking about the general fund. A general fund is collected from a 2.7, and they use the term parish alimony, which is millage. Okay,
Right.
and out of that 2.7, we're mandated by law to pay the following people, and that's the DA, your coroner, your city court, your criminal court, your justice of peace and constables, the register of voters, director of homeland security, court reporter, county agent, veterans office, juvenile detention charge, and police jury administrative staff, which comes out to about $2.5 million annually.
Just for the salaries of
So that
those
2.7
positions.
millage you pay goes toward all that. Now, we collect a 6.2 millage for the library, and we collect a 4 mil for the health unit. However, none of those monies, okay, basically you cannot swap money around. It's against the law. We get audited, and that would be, if we messed up, but we that hasn't happened. Drainage is also a 3.5 millage, okay? Now, I'm from the old school thinking, do we need 6.2 millages for libraries versus 3.0 for drainage? I think just the opposite. That's something we can look at when they come up for renewal, and people don't need to understand that when the text, and that's what's Avoyelles Parish is notorious for this. It's tough to get a tax passed. Very tough. That garbage tax we got right now took 5 times.
Right.
Once we get one on the books, we don't have no problem renewing them when they come up. But however, people need to understand that renewal, it's not actually a renewal. It's a new tax. That old tax is expiring, so you replace them with another tax. Well, the old addicts, I guess, the politicians use is we're just renewing. You're already paying for it, so it's no big deal. So, but however, we can reword that. When that millage comes up, we could reword that. Hey, we want to maybe swap that, take a little more from library and add it to the drainage and whatever. And that's something, if it comes up, I don't know when the dates are, I'm going to entertain that. I mean, again, I told you the phone rings, roads,
Yeah.
we need to do better in that area. So
Right. So you wouldn't be asking for a new tax. You would just take the
Same
two
money.
taxes you have. You paying more here and less here in the drainage. You would just ask for, I guess, reappropriate a little bit less tax for the libraries, and then kind of put that towards the drainage.
same
and
money.
everything.
You're already paying
Yeah,
it.
the same money. It's not new taxes.
You prioritizing. I think you putting. We need some help on the roads. So
Yeah.
that's my thinking. So
Right. Yeah.
and I'm for that.
Right. Let's see. That's some good points. That's what I like about this podcast. There's always new points that come
yeah.
out. I learn things on every episode. All right. Let's move on to home rule charter.
All right.
So that's the big topic, the big discussion going around with the parish. You have one side saying that and we won't beat it to death to as far as the ins and outs. You can find out on previous podcasts. We explain how the petitions sort of work, but I guess in a nutshell is one side believes that the petition was passed, they had the votes, it was signed by the clerk of court, and that it should just be brought to the people to vote whether we want to pursue in that avenue or not. And the police jury's on the other side saying, well, like Kirby was saying, that wards and precincts weren't added with the petition, so you needed your signature, a witness, and you were supposed to have wards and precincts on it, and that failed that. So it's been in court and litigation, and the police jury is they had to hire an outside lawyer, $175 an hour. And let's just get into that. What is, I guess, the current state and your thoughts with the home rule charter and which direction it.
The whole problem with it is that little 5-letter word "shall" that came into play. Yeah, I mean, here's what the deal was. They they came before us. And this is a precedented case because we're the only parish that actually has told them, no, we're not going to do the commission ourselves.
Right.
The rest that have gotten on it, 26 parishes that haven't did that. We told them they had to go back out and get the signatures, and they did. They went out and they had them certified by the register of voters and Secretary of State. So our job was an administrative job. or do we have the right to determine whether we think the petition was done invalid? And this was brought up by Mr. Holmes at one of the meetings. He said we could not put it on the ballot because it wasn't a legit petition. And like I said, the word shall was in the law, and I questioned it myself, but here's my thinking on it. I don't think that was our job to declare that or do that or fight that. I thought our job was, it passed, it was certified, that needs to be put on the ballot. Okay, and that was my thinking. And I still believe that. Right. I mean, I think the people, if the people don't want it, they'll vote no. If they want it, they'll vote yes. And I don't think that's our call. I think that's me again personally. However, I can respect some of jurors' thoughts on it because of the way the law was written and how the petition should have been filled out. And like I said, that 5-letter word shall, what does shall mean? Mm-hmm. To me, that means absolutely. It has to be absolutely, yeah. But, I didn't know the ins and outs. I don't know if there's some things you can, I don't think that's our deal. So I was under the impression that Mr. Holmes said he would file a suit if we put it on the ballot. Well, I was thinking, okay, we put it on the ballot, you file a suit, but that's not how it worked out. And, I respect what was done. I didn't vote for it. I voted to put it on the ballot. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm for it. Right. Because I don't, I've researched it. They got to write a charter. And to me, the most important thing about that is the people you're going to elect to write that charter. Yes. Those commissioners. Which
that would be put up for election too. We would be voting on the commissioners.
That was what was going to be put on the ballot.
But if it would not have done the petition, then y'all would have been the commission.
We had the opportunity.
Right. Y'all had the opportunity.
We had the opportunity to appoint the commissioners.
Right.
But we chose not to. We said we didn't want to. Yeah. And they went to the street and did they did the legwork. Yeah. And I mean, they had the signatures. Right. Now, was the petition filled out correctly? Right. I got my personal view on it, but does that keep it from going to the ballot? Mm-hmm. What was our job? To decide whether the petition was valid or would put it on the ballot because they had it certified. So that's where we're at. As far as it went to trial court, and I think the whole thing is, and it's been kicked back, or it's in a nowhere state, I would say.
Yeah. So currently, it's just
we lost the first round and we appealed it. Basically, we won it, but when they was told, send it back down. And the whole problem was the petition that was in question was never submitted as evidence. So
what that would be failure on the ones filing the suit that they never brought the petition. It seemed like that would have been the a key piece of evidence. Or
so my understanding, and again, this is still in litigation. I don't know if I'm getting in trouble for saying all this, but it's that it needs to go back and it needs to be a trial type court deal. Right. Where evidence can be presented by both sides.
Right. So it'll be looked at again at some point at some court somewhere right now. I guess they're just kind of figuring out everything.
But it's a mess. I don't like it because it's causing a lot of turmoil and
a lot of division,
a lot of friction, division, and our country's plagued with that right now.
Yeah, we don't need it locally.
It is what it is. But my stand was on it. I voted not for the. I voted to put it on the ballot, and I also voted not to hire a lawyer.
Right. Okay. So a couple of more questions to that, especially you being a financial chairman and everything. Of course, you got a couple of extra tough questions. Do we have a dollar amount on the lawyer that we spent so far?
$175 an hour will be. There's nothing come across the desk that I put my eyes on yet.
Okay. One more question.
Okay.
If it would have gone to the ballot, Kirby was saying that even though it's in a special election, of course, I mean a major election, of course, a special election, it would cost money to have it just for that. I mean, you got to get the voting machines out. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. But in an election like this one, he says it would be $20,000 to put it on, even on a general election. Is that, I mean, not asking for a dollar amount, I mean, give or take several thousand, but that is the case. If you want to add something to the ballot, it costs money.
Here's the case. I mean, if you tag it on a ballot that's already there, we got a state election. So it's going to be cheaper versus if you have it just by itself. If you go back to 1983 when this garbage tax was passed, it was passed in March.
A special election.
yeah, special election. So
You have to pay the whole thing to set up the whole
yeah,
shebang.
and you got to watch these too. You know, the old adage of we'll put it on the ballot then because a whole lot of people won't vote.
Yeah.
And that's not right. But that's politics.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it would be cheaper to tag it on than versus running it by itself.
Right. So it still does cost even during
yeah.
the general election or not a general election.
Yep.
You know, major election. All right, Mr. Darrell, I have one more big one for you. The district boundaries.
Okay.
Can you explain that? Can you go ahead and pull it up?
Yeah. I'm gonna do the best I can. You know, this is a redistricting and it's changed. It's gonna go into effect in 2024, but you're voting for this district right now. So you might. I know there's some people that are in my district now, but in January they're probably gonna be in somebody else's district. So
Yeah, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day. He lives not far from here, and I even got him set up on the Go Vote app and everything. Everything shows that
that's
he's
a great thing.
It's
Everybody
great.
ought to have that.
Absolutely, because you live in so many districts. You know, school
that-
board is separate from police jury. And
That would
then you
help.
have your
That would
representatives.
help with petitions.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
pull up, hey, okay,
Yeah.
I know my. Yeah, okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
So he swore that he was in your district, but we pulled it up, and he's in District 3, which is Mark Borrell. But as you and I talked earlier on the phone, you currently, so the districts that show up on the assessor's office, that's the new districts that that's on the ballot right now. That's going to take effect on January. But currently,
That's correct.
the boundaries are a little bit different than what you see there.
Okay, I'll try to sum it. I wrote it up, and I might get you to help me pronounce some of these roads. And of course, I have all the roads parish north of the Red River. That's
Right.
Ward 1 community in which I live in.
So right here on the northern side, you have a relatively big, a large district. So everything north of the Red River,
Right.
and that's in Avoyelles Parish.
That's correct.
And then,
When you coming down Highway 107, you cross the Moclaw Bridge, I have everything on the right-hand side of 107 up to Highway 453, which where you live right now. Now, when you turn on 453, I have the right side, okay? And then you take a right on Highway 1, I have the right side of Highway 1, and that's up to Highway 114, okay?
go ahead, zoom in on there, Emily.
Now, on the right-hand side, you have Highway 1195, okay? I have that. I have the left side of Highway 114 up to German Bayou Road, okay? I have the right side of 1194 coming from Highway 1, all right? I have Alvin 4. I'll name these little roads off that are in the district, so maybe if they hear it, they'll know. I have Alvin Ford Lane, Bayou des Allemands Lane, is that correct?
Bayou d'Almont.
Okay, I hope they don't get mad at me. Bernard's Resort Parkway, Brianna Lane, Bringle Road, Bucks Lane, Burt Road, Cajun Lane, Charlie Brown Road, Clement Luno Road, DC Drive, Olive Egg Bend Road, left side of Eli Dozot Road coming from Highway 1194. Okay, I have Gauchons Lane, German Bayou Road, Gun Lane, H. Dozot Road, Happy Trails Lane, Island Road, J.B. Coco Road, Katie's Cove, Lucy Bell Drive, Piney Ridge Road, Poor Man's Lane, Pumpkin Lane, River Road, Starlight Baptist, T. Gaspard Road, Tom's Road, and I guess it's Tussey Lane and Zelman Lane. These are all in the district. So basically what you're saying is you come down, you take a right on 453, got all the right-hand side, go to that Highway 1, all there to the right to the river. Okay, that River Road, Egg Bend area, that's all mine. Then you come back out to Highway 1, the right-hand side up to Highway 114, and then you go German back to Highway 1.
And then right there down 1194, you have everything to the right side. And then when you get to Eli Dozar Road,
That's the
then you still have
take
the
a
right side of the road.
You take a right, and I got the right-hand side.
Oh, okay.
And
I
it
thought
runs
that
back-
was all District 2.
No,
but that's gonna
the left side of the road, District 2.
Okay, and they have everything else, the island and all that, even by the
Well,
refuge.
I
and everything.
have some of the island too, be on the right side.
Yeah, everything on the right. When you get to the end of Eli Dozar
that's
Road,
right.
everything on the right.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
It's a big area,
Yeah, you have
considering, I'd like to throw this out there. We have approximately 425 miles in the parish, and
Of your district?
no,
Or
that's the
everything?
parish.
Of
But
parish
I
roads?
have with these new district, I'll have up by around 108 miles.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, wow. And I have just in my area alone, across the river, I have approximately over 40 roads that either we don't grade them all, but most of them require gravel.
Yeah.
So, big area, and that's a frustrating thing, because we get monies and stuff, we split it 9 ways. But
Right.
me having the most roads, it seems like I probably have the most roads that need fixing. But the equality's there. I don't know about the equity. I think that's something that maybe we could work out. But I can understand the rest of the guys not wanting to give up their money. But
Yeah.
we could prioritize, maybe come up with a system. I don't know, something we could look into.
There's so many things that go into that. I understand, like your budget. A lot of people work a 9 to 5 job. You get a specific paycheck. We're
Correct.
doing that. In politics, you don't have that. You have to look at the projections of what you're expecting next year to do, and one COVID lockdown or one something could change a lot of numbers, and then you have this issue with you have all these roads, but the district lines they're not necessarily drawn on the amount of roads. It goes with a lot of things, demographics and populations and stuff. So
Correct.
when you have a line drawn out from that, then you stuck with the most amount of road, but you still get an equal amount of money. Maybe some kind of negotiation in the future. Maybe that could be brought up.
It's a tough thing when you do these redistricting. They don't look at the number of roads.
No.
They don't consider anything. And I feel for the people of Fifth Ward, because actually they're split maybe possibly 3 ways.
Yeah, they're
And so
in
they
3 ways.
really, they don't have I guess the term we used in history over the years, the native son or whatever, and
Yeah.
I've got to go around and reassure them that I'm the man that can help them the most, and I know that, and I understand that, and it's tough. It's a tough situation.
Yeah, I believe Fifth Ward is like split between 1, 2, and
Six
5 or
or
6.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it
Because I
kind of
did
makes
have
it.
the Beldo area, and now I'm lost that. So
Well, Mr. Wiley, do you have any closing thoughts? Anything that you would like to? If you have any more that you want to discuss here?
no, I maybe tell people a little bit more about myself.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm 64 years old. I've lived in Effie most of my life. I grew up in Center Point for the first 14 years of my life. I was raised there. But I'm married to Marcia Wiley. We've resided in Effie for my entire 64 years. So I'm a retired school teacher slash coach, 34 years. And like I said, I'm retired now, which is I'm a full-time public servant, is like what I say, because I'm just like anybody else. I'm a concerned citizen, and I'm just stepping up to the plate. And I think that's a big difference. I'm not going to hide behind a computer and gripe and complain. I'm going to go out there and try to do something. And like I said, you can't please everybody. You got to try, and I think I've done that. I've enjoyed my time as a school board member. I've enjoyed my time, just my brief time I've been on the police jury. There's a lot more that can be done, and I'm willing to do it, and I'm hoping and I want to make this appeal also. We have 2,443 registered voters in this district. When I ran in November and I won the election, I carried around 60% of the vote, but there was only 727 people voted. So it's a matter of, I think a politician would rather have 60% of 100% electorate than 60% less than that. And the trend has been 55, 56% in these elections in the past. So I'm issuing a challenge. If you're concerned about your parish, if you're concerned about who's serving your parish, then get out and voice your opinion. Go out and vote. Hopefully you vote for me, but go out and vote. Make a difference, and maybe if we work together and roll our sleeves up, work together, we can make this a better place.
So we have less griping and more coming together as a community. We can
Yeah,
we can do a lot better.
Exactly.
And it's which is the whole purpose of the podcast. I mention this all the time, but it's really a way of getting information out. It's just unbiased. It's just you have information that we getting. I'm learning as the voters are learning, and we talk to both sides, and just to try to get more people involved, because we can all gripe about it. All of my life, you've always, growing up, everybody's griping about politics, from the police jury to the school board to the whatever president to everything. Well, a lot of times they really don't know what they're talking about. They just gripe because they might have heard something or whatever. So that's what we're trying to do: get information out to everyone where they can have a truly informed decision when they go to the ballot box.
There's always two sides to every story.
That's right. There's
I
always
learned
two
that in
sides.
the education business, coaching. But my like I said, I'll answer my phone, I answer my text, or I'll come to you. You can come to me, or we can meet somewhere. I have no problem with that. I mean, we have community stops that we talk. People go drink coffee, we visit. And I have no problem with that. I think that's important, that you have that type of relationship with your elected official.
Right. Like the good old days. Stop at a coffee shop, drinking coffee with, or the barber shop or something. Well, Mr. Darrell, I sure appreciate you coming out on the program. I think it's very important for everyone to give their thoughts to their constituents and potential constituents. And I want to thank everybody for watching. And it's really important that if you can if you can subscribe to my podcast. You can listen to this anywhere that you get your podcast from: YouTube, Spotify, wherever, iHeartRadio, Amazon, iTunes, wherever you want to listen to podcasts is there. If you could subscribe to the channel, it just makes it more visible, and then you pass that on to your friends and neighbors. It helps get the podcast message out a little bit more, and we appreciate everybody watching. This is another edition of The Other Side.
I wanna be like you. I wanna be like you.